Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid
Descendant, the enemy has modified the ancestors' weapon with bogus technology and are using it to emit inversion energy. It appears they are defending the gate with it. The weapon contains ancient arcane. The structure uncovered doors and releases this. Descendant, I will show you the properties of the arcane stored within the weapon. You can disconnect the energy link using your own arcane.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't break the stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up.
Descendant, the enemy commander is using the inversion energy as a personal barrier. We must find a device with the same arcane properties used to attack that device from above to penetrate the inversion energy. This is a phased separation layer, which uses inversion energy. It has a large output, which requires processing of tens of billions of units of data per second. According to the scan results, the structure that appears to be a computing device is full of this artificial brains. This is how they are processing all that data. Continue to insert all these artificial brains into the computing device, Descendant. If you overload the device, the payload will be neutralized. as a shield. If you overload the computing device, you can create an opening to attack the commander directly.
Hello everyone. So I decided to do this video just because today I saw quite a lot of comments, people complaining that they can't finish today's invasions because they are hard AF, you know, and it's impossible. That's, you know, the majority of the comments that I saw today on the Steam forum were like, this is absolutely impossible, this is BS, it should be nerfed, and things like that. And I'm sitting there just reading and just holding my head, you know, like, how is this possible that people cannot really finish this? And I'm not specifically talking about, you know, I'm not specifically talking about just Bunny or Viessa or the most broken Descendants, although I do show it with Viessa and Bunny, but you can see, I'll put a link in the description for another video that I did yesterday or a few days ago, that I did quite a lot of invasions, the same invasions, not the same from this video, but, you know, repeatedly did the same set of invasions with different Descendants, just to show that it's actually possible. You don't need the most broken Descendant, like everyone says Bunny is the most broken, it's OP, it should be nerfed. Well, if Bunny is the most broken, it's OP, Bunny is free, everyone has Bunny, right? Most of the players have Bunny built. Then why are most of the players still complaining that they cannot finish this? It just doesn't make any sense. And my point is that you don't even need Bunny to finish the majority, if not all the majority, like 90 or at 95% of the invasions with perfect score. I mean the gold score, right? But anyway, without wasting time, let me show you the build that I used for Bunny, right? Because everyone has Bunny, everyone should have Bunny built, I hope. So, two things before I show you this, before I show you the build. There are two things that you need to know before starting any mission before start building any descendant or any weapon. Okay? Rule number 1, turn on your monitors. Before start playing the game, just turn on the monitor. That's the first most important thing. The second most important thing is this thing. You see this thing called crystallization catalyst and this thing called energy activators, right? This thing, I'm sure that you have them and they're probably collecting dust in your inventory. You have to use them, right? I mean, that's why they're in the game. You should take them from the inventory and use these things, right? These are the two basic things. Before starting any mission, before starting the invasion missions, before start building any descendant or weapon, right? With the modules, before enhancing them, you have to use these things. This thing here called crystallization catalyst and this thing here called energy activator, right? Now that we know that we have to turn on the monitor and use these two things, after we do this, here's what we do. We go into Bunny. Now for this, of course, you will need the ultimate Bunny because this mod is only for the ultimate version of the Bunny. But if you have the ultimate Bunny, then this is the setup that can give you the most DPS on bosses. And not just bosses, but you're not gonna wipe the, like, if you like just running around wiping all the trash mobs, forget about that. I mean, you can do this and then you can go and complain that you cannot beat the boss, right? Because let me demonstrate just for a second what I mean by that. So just let's put it on the max level and okay, so I'm here, for example, running, you see, and they are not taking any damage. Forget about this. You're not gonna hit them from here or from the other end of the map. You will have to do this, okay? You will have to do constantly this. You have to play around the mobs and you can't just do this, right? This is not gonna work. So, after that's clarified, this is the build that can give you the highest DPS possible on Bunny ever in the game currently, okay? But you will lose the AoE. But do you need the AoE? No, because the point of Bunny is that you activate her second ability, the speed of light, and then you activate her third ability and you just start running around the tile set, right, the room, and you just do this and kill the mobs anyway. I mean, if you want to be lazy and just, you know, just do this in the tile set, then you will go on the forum and complain that you cannot kill the boss, right? So which one is it? Which one do you want to be, right? You want to actually play the game or just sit in one place, do this, and then complain that you cannot kill the boss? It doesn't make sense, again. So, again, for the build, you have to use high voltage, and if you use high voltage, forget about the AoE. That's one thing. Then, this build is focused on skill critical hit. So, if you see, my skill crit hit rate is around 33%, and the crit hit damage is 4.4x multiplier. Now, in order to achieve this, you need the following mods. You need strong mentality for skill cost reduction and maximize conservation again for skill cost reduction. Now the maximize conservation comes with an additional negative, which is skill power modifier minus 20%. Do you care that you get minus 20%? No, because again you have 230% skill power modifier. And I'll show you. I mean, this build hits for like almost 1.4 millions on critical. So you don't really care about this 20%. Then increased HP and increased depth. These two modes in all my builds, on all my descendants, they are by default the two first modes that go in any descendant. Like no matter what descendant is, no arguing here. Increased HP, increased depth, every single descendant. The first two modes that you have to put, increased HP, increased depth, then put whatever you want, right? These two modes, if you don't have them, you get wrecked. Again. So, increased HP, increased depth. Then, focus on electric, which gives you electric skill power, which is better than skill power modifier, but again, I have the skill power modifier because there's nothing else really to put. I mean, you can put range here, and I actually initially wanted to put range here instead of this because I still don't need this really. I mean, I would hit for let's say not 1.4 but maybe 1.2 million without this mod, and I think I tested it. Maybe it's not 1.2 but it's 1,140 something thousand, without this mod. So, and the reason why this mod doesn't increase your damage so much is because you already have like 230%. And if you have a lot of skill power modifier on a descendant already, what will give you more damage is the skill power, not the skill power modifier. On descendants that have skill power modifier, let's say around 50 or 90, 80, 100, something like that, then skill power modifier is a good idea. Because let's say 50% skill power modifier like on Glay, for example. If you put more skill power modifier, that's better than putting just skill power, because you don't have a modifier to scale your raw power, which this is the raw power, the electric skill power. But if you don't have enough modifier to multiply that raw power, then it's useless to have raw power in the first place. But on Bunny, you already have 230%. That's more than enough. You don't really need this. If you want, you can put range. But the thing is that if you put range here, you will have, as you can see, the duration of my third ability is 20 seconds. And the cooldown is 19.3 seconds, which means that by the time my duration ends, I can immediately activate the ability. What happens if I remove this? You see, I have to wait 0.7 seconds, which might not be a problem. It might be fine, but then the thing is that you can see that on the reactor, you might need, for example, duration or skill cooldown, depending on how much cooldown or duration you want. Actually, so if you are fine with 0.7 seconds waiting, then putting rage here would be good idea, right? Because then you don't have to stay that close to the boss and be knocked down, right? So then we take skill concentration for skill critical hit damage, front lines for critical hit damage and critical hit rate, then emergency measures for more skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage, then skill insight for skill critical hit rate even more, and I think that's it. So with this, and I'm also using this long distance maneuvering. Like, why am I using this is because, for example, if I activate my third ability now and I hook here, oops, Okay, I can just do this, but you have to do it from further, so like here. And if you are close to them, you can actually, you know, see, you can damage them more often, depending on how far you attach to a structure, and you just press the left or right button, and then you just move like that. And so, for example, again, if I do this, and you can see, so that's the only reason why I'm using it, and also it's useful because it gives you quite a really long distance that you can hook, which again is nice in invasions because you can shorten distance significantly, and every second is important in like when your timer is 4.30 minutes or 5.30 minutes, right? But keep in mind that it will increase the cooldown. So that's basically the build that I'm using for Bunny. And with this build, you have very high crit chance. And as you can see, your skill cost is extremely low. For example, instead of 266, it's more than double less, like less than double the amount of the electricity cost. And so you can see I can just run all the time almost. And you know, when you kill the mobs, they will drop energy, so you will feel your energy. Most of the mission you will be able to just run through the entire mission with this setup. Now for the reactor, what you want is again, for the weapon that you're using, obviously I'm using Thunder Cage. By the way, I used Thunder Cage, which is general rounds, right? As you can see, people complaining that, you know, the rebuff is general rounds, so it's impossible because it's general rounds. I was using Thunder Cage, which is general rounds, to take the barrier, and in the barrier you can't take with skills. At least I couldn't take the barrier with skills, so you have to take it with your weapon. And you know, I didn't have problems with taking the barrier with my Thunder Cage, which is general round again. So I don't know what people were doing. Like, really, what exactly is the problem? Are you using these catalysts and energy activators? Like, to me that seems impossible to be impossible. Like, seriously. Anyway, for the reactor, what you want is, ideally, you want skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. Right? As you can see on the very bottom, there are two affixes: skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. You want these two. Ideally, they would be both yellow. Mine are not, because RNG is RNG, and I had to grind 4 hours non-stop just to get this one reactor specifically. Because I wanted it to be for Thunder Cage with exactly these stats, with skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage that are at least purple. And ideally you want them with yellow, but aim for at least purple, both of them. Now, this is the ideal combination, and it will be very difficult. Again, it's RNG. You might get it just from the first time. You might get it from the 10th time, right? It's RNG, but it might take you a lot of time. And I understand that it can be frustrating, like, to get this. So if you don't want to invest the time to get this, it's not the end of the world, right? You will do slightly less damage, but if you can get it with skill critical hit rate at least purple, and let's say singular damage, like singular skill damage or whatever it is, or electric skill power boost, something else that is useful for your build, either singular or electric skill power boost, that's still good, right? If you don't get it with critical hit damage, but with electric, it's still fine. Still, again, you will do less damage, but it's not like you won't be able to clear the mission or to kill the boss. No, you'll still be able to do it. But the critical hit rate is a must. You absolutely need this with at least purple critical hit rate, because the critical hit rate of Bunny is quite low and you want it as high as possible. Now for the components, what I'm using is max HP. So you want max HP and max HP, and get the max HP at least, like the auxiliary, at least with purple, high-end purple. I mean like 780 or above HP, right? Don't use anything less than this. Why? Because you can see this is the only place where you can put HP here on this setup. And okay, here the sensor comes with HP as well. But apart from this HP and this HP, these are the only place where you can roll HP. Otherwise, you have to take something from a set that gives you HP on a memory, and I don't know if there is a memory set that gives you HP, or processor that gives you HP, but I don't know if there is such thing. So and if you don't have this, I mean with already maxed HP, you can see max HP here and here, I'm barely sitting at 9.3k HP, right? Why? Because Bunny is a glass cannon. It's extremely difficult to scale her HP. And you know, people say nerf Bunny because, you know, she's OP. She's OP and she gets, you know, easily killed. I mean, you get 3 or 4 hits from the boss and you're dead. Nerf her, like nerf her to wear more. Like nerf her so that she can die from one shot and do no damage. Like, who will play her? Anyway, what you want, again, on the auxiliary, max HP, and then some resistance. Like, I don't have this with resistance, but ideally you will get it with resistance. I don't remember which resistance actually. Also, it's not chill resistance, and it's not electrical resistance, so it's fire resistance. Okay, so you want it double HP and fire resistance. That's the best case scenario. If you can't roll it with resistance, get it with max HP. The max HP is a must here. Then here as well, you want it with chill resistance and max MP. And max MP is important on her because you want to be able to run as long as possible. Then on the memory, you want double defense and resistance, ideally. If you cannot get the resistance, still it's not the end of the world, but it's very beneficial to have the resistance. But the the double defense is a must. And I'm not talking about blue defense. If you get it with blue defense, just throw it at least high purple, like 3600 or something like that at least. Then here, again, defense, max shield, and toxin resistance. And really, this is the ideal processor that you can get. Like, okay, ideally it will be both the max shield and the toxin resistance would be yellow rows, but these stats are the best that you can get, because really anything else is absolutely useless that you can roll as an affix on Bunny for the processor. And I think on, like, if not all, like most Descendants, like these are the best things, max shield and toxin resistance that you can get. And defense. And this is what this is because you want at least 32k defense. This is the bare minimum that you want with her, because again, she doesn't have HP. And if you don't have defense, and if you don't have zero resistance, it will be difficult. But maybe you can get away with zero resistance, but the defense should be at least really 32,000. So I think that sums it up. If you want me, I can show you the Thunder Cage, because again, people say general rounds. No, it's impossible. Well, this is general rounds. So what I used here is, again, it's a critical hit based weapon. As you can see, for example, on the Thunder Cage, I have almost 40% crit hit rate and 6.6 damage multiplier. So for the modules, I'm using better concentration for crit hit damage and better insight for crit hit rate. Reloading time modifier, so this is the Recycling Genius, and the reason why I'm using this is because there was a mod this mod. Because I'm using concentration priority for the crit hit damage that gives me negative reload time modifier, then I'm using one that negates this. This is minus 30%, this is plus 30%, so the net result is 0%, right? You want to be able to reload as fast as possible, because you have to DPS as much as possible, obviously. Then I'm using electric enhancement, edging shot for more firearm crit hit rate, rifling reinforcement for firearm attack, action and reaction for more firearm attack, and then concentration stabilizer for less recoil. Now, if you are okay with the recoil, you don't have to use this, right? Because this will give you 20% recoil. If you don't mind this, just forget about using this. You can just put more damage. For example, you can use mental focus, which I'm using here, but I'm using here just because my Thunder Cage is not fully formatted. I mean, this is what I use for Glay, right? But here I will put another catalyst and change the polarity so that I can use more this expand weapon charge for more magazine size. So this is what I want to replace here, more ammo, but I still haven't done this. So if you're fine with the recoil, just remove the recoil, keep mental focus, and put this expand weapon charge instead of the concentration stabilizer. This will give you even more DPS, but again, only if you are fine with the recoil. And the recoil, I don't like it because it's significant, in my opinion, right? Maybe you are fine with it, that's fine. So this is it. I hope it helps someone, and I'm out.